everyone, welcome back to my channel. This week we are going to go over my first holster and quite possibly my favorite holster. This is the CanCan Concealment Hip Hugger. So I actually have two options. We have up top the original CanCan Concealment Hip Hugger, and down here this is the Hip Hugger Elite. As you can see, they do look fairly similar. There are a couple differences that I'll go into. So the entire right half of these holsters are identical. So starting at the far right, you've got your hook and eye closures along here on both of them. Both of them have an appendix carry pocket, since the hook and eye closures would go in the front typically. You've got this side pocket that I would typically go ahead and put my phone in. Then you have a rear holster pocket. And then this pocket that, at least on me, goes directly along my spine, so I don't actually put anything in here. On both the front and rear holsters, you do have a little tab to help reholster, so that way you don't have to pull the actual fabric itself. You can use that to keep your hands away from the muzzle end of the firearm. And then over here on the left side is where things are changed up a little bit. So once again, starting from that middle, what would be the along the spine pocket. Next up on the original, you've got the same holster setup. So you've got what would be about an 8 o'clock holster position. This pocket, which is where I put my spare mag and O-light. And then a left appendix, like an 11 o'clock position. And then 3 sets of hook and eye closures, so you've got 3 different size options there. And down here on the Elite, so instead of having a rear holster pocket, you've got this Velcro pocket that also has a little lanyard with a clip on it. I personally will go ahead and clip my key fob and pepper spray to that, and then the whole thing tucks into the Velcro pocket. And then once again, you've got that side pocket, so once again, spare mag and O-light. And then up front, you've got this zipper pocket that is perfect for carrying your ID, your credit cards, anything that you definitely need to make sure stays within that pocket. And then also here, instead of just the 3 hook and eye closures you had on the original, you actually have 6 options. So the entire length of this one is quite a bit longer. So you do have more size options. Both of these are in their classic size, which is perfect for your standard carry size weapons, your M&P Shield, Springfield XDS, Glock 43. As you can see here, it is empty. And all you need to do is just pull that tab. A little difficult to do when it's not actually on the body. And it just slides right in there. And now let's go look at some outfits. So this is my first outfit of CanCan Week. Pretty basic outfit for me. I've got just a button-down plaid shirt on, a pair of jeans, and some boots. And I do have my shield up here. It's about at a 230 position, which in this shirt conceals just fine. And just to show you what I'll have in here, go ahead and clear that. So I typically carry my shield on the right side. It either goes up in this front appendix pocket or back here. And in the front, I've got this little zipper pouch that can hold my cards, IDs, whatever I need. Farther back, I've got my O-light and a spare mag. And then back here, there's a little clip that I've got my key fob and my pepper spray on. Alright, and just so you can see all this, it does have a hook and eye closure. So it does take a little bit of time, but it is very secure. Oh, and I won't let anything drop. Alright, so here's the reverse of my standard setup. I do have, like I said, either at the right appendix or right behind the hip, I've got my firearm. And then as it goes around, there is that key fob and pepper spray in this little Velcro pouch. And then you've got your magazine pouch, and then that zipper pouch. Let's get rid of that and make it a little easier. And then up front on the Elite, you've got 6 full sets of hook and eye closures. So depending on if you want to wear it higher up at your waist, lower down at your hips, or just in general weight fluctuations, you've got a couple different sizes you can change that in between. And putting it on is pretty simple. It does take a little bit of time just to get all of those hooks and eyes in place. Okay. But once it's on, it is very secure. So once again, I can either carry in the appendix position, back here at the 5 o'clock, or if I can get away with it, my personal favorite is using that front pocket, since it does have that zero cant, and moving that all the way around to the strong side over to my 3 o'clock, so it's right on my hip. Oh, and for reholstering, it does have these little tabs, so you don't have to worry about flagging yourself. And yeah, that's the basics of this holster. Now the original holster is a little bit different. On the strong side, it's still the same. You still have the front and rear pouches plus the little side pouch. And you do still have that on the side as well, once again where I keep my spare mag and O-light. But the 2 other pockets are different. So here you've got an 8 o'clock behind the hip carry position for a gun, or you've also got the appendix. So if you're ambidextrous, like to switch back and forth between the 2, or if you're just a left-handed shooter, then this works very well, but you don't get those added pockets that you do in the other one. You don't get the zipper or the key fob in the back that you do on this one. So this pocket and this pocket are different between the Elite and the standard. They do make the Elite in left-handed. It is just by request though. They don't keep it standard stock, but they do have that available. They do also have an extender hook and eye. So if you do have more weight fluctuations, or if your hips are significantly different from your waist, I have had friends use this when they get pregnant, so that way they can continue to size up as the baby grows. They do also have this available on their website. This is the first holster I started with, and honestly, kind of my favorite. So it's day 2 of CanCan week. I'm feeling pretty lazy, so I've got some leggings on that actually have a pretty stretchy waistband. So the CanCan hip hugger is perfect for this. I've also got this jacket on, a shirt from Armed & Style. You know what this shirt is made of? Range date material. Nice and long, perfect for wearing with leggings. And a little pair of booties. And the thing I love most about wearing the CanCan hip hugger with the jacket like this is I can wear strong side, which is my preferred carry position. So I do have my shield on my right hip, my spare mag and O-lights And I've also got my phone back here behind my right hip in that spare pocket. And yeah, with the jacket covering over it, it's totally hidden. So it's a gorgeous 78-degree spring day here in Colorado. Just gonna ignore the blizzard warning that's currently out. But I do have some family plans tonight, so I do want to get a little dressed up. So I've got this cold shoulder flowy top, a pleather skirt, and some strappy heels. And I do have my M&P shield. So I've got that up front. So since this blouse is pretty flowy up in the front, I did want to do a true 12 o'clock position, so I do have it in that front holster pocket that does have a 0-degree cant. And then I've got my spare mag and O-light back here. And yeah, works with skirts just as well. So it's a pretty dressy day for work today, and I did need to be a little bit warmer at the office. So I've got this jacket on that I know you guys have seen a couple times now, a pretty fitted shirt, and a pair of slacks. And these are actually pretty tight fitting, so I do have my holster on the outside of the slacks today. So I've got my Springfield XDS up here, along with spare mags and O-lights back here. And yeah, that's the look. So I did decide to change up and go with my XDS today. And I just also wanted to point out that there is a way, if you don't feel comfortable wearing a gun in a soft-sided holster, I do have a trigger guard that you are able to clip on to the hip hugger. So it just slips on like that, and when you go to drop, it all comes out all in one. So here is my Kydex trigger guard. Just snaps right over the trigger guard of the gun, and all you have to do is just pull it off, and it's just that simple. But getting it into the CanCan is a little bit more difficult. If it's something you're going to carry on a daily basis, it's easy to just set up and leave it. But if you're switching back and forth like I did today, it's a little bit more difficult. So let's move that around the front. So first I'm going to feed this string down through the bottom. So as you can see, it is open at the bottom of that. Put the trigger guard down as far as I can so I get more room to work with this. And then I'm going between two of the hooks. If your trigger guard has a smaller, thinner lanyard, you could go in one of the hooks. I'm just going in between two of them. Then you gotta feed it back up. And now I don't have as much room, so it's kind of hard to show. But now I've got that free end back up here. I'll wrap that around the back end of the trigger guard. Like I said, this does take a little bit of work if you're just doing it for this one time. But now I've got the trigger guard fully attached, as you can see, down to that hook, and it's not going anywhere. So now I've got more room to play with it up here. So now you can take your firearm, clip it over that, and now you've got full Kydex protection over the trigger guard in a belly band. And then to take that off, rather than having to unthread that all you've got to do is just unclip the hook and eye closure where you had that actually clipped onto. That does take a little bit of work, but it's far easier than having to unthread all this. Just falls right off, and it's back to normal. So basically all I was doing was threading this around both the hook and eye closure and around the actual trigger guard. So in the end, that was what was around the hook and eye closure. So it's a pretty lazy day today, just chilling around the house, getting some stuff done. Might go get groceries later. But I did want to show you another option for carrying. So I've got just this old Victoria's Secret sweatshirt, an old pair of scrubs that I don't wear to work anymore, and I don't even have these shoes on. But I did want to show one other carry option for the hip hugger. So back here, I've got my Taser Pulse. So because the Taser Pulse is basically the size and shape as my carry guns and actually significantly lighter, I am able to carry that in the hip hugger just the same, and it conceals just as well.